Welcome to the Creating Wealth Podcast, where Kyle Curtin takes you on an extraordinary journey alongside renowned multifamily real estate sponsors and syndication experts from every corner of the United States. We teach you how to harness the power of passive real estate investing and witness the transformation of your wealth building strategy. Let's create wealth together.
Hey guys, how we doing? So I had a conversation recently with a gentleman named Chris, and we just during our conversation, he was sharing something that that really stuck out to me, and it's definitely something that I put into action in the past few days. Something that I really want to share with you guys because it's real. Anybody can really use this, in different parts of the real estate industry. But now I'm gonna, explain it in the context of syndications and like finding other partners and finding investors and really going in on building the relationships in a different way, kind of within our sector. And essentially, like, we got on the phone, we were talking for a while, and he was telling me that he does deals um alongside some sponsors in somewhere on the West Coast. I don't know if it was Washington State or California or whichever, but essentially I asked him, I'm like, oh, well, just out of curiosity, like, how did you meet those other co-sponsors that like you guys are doing deals together and everything? Do you go to conferences? Like how did you kind of meet them? And he said something that I really liked. And it sounds so simple, but it's so freaking real, right? And it's really interesting, like seeing the or I should say thinking of a couple folks that I know that come to mind that do this on a large basis and like how their businesses have grown exponentially from doing this. As well as on the flip side of the coin of how many people that I know that don't do things like this. And kind of like the potential impact that could happen if maybe they did. And essentially what it boils down to is he met his partners through giving value on I want to say it was like one of like the Facebook investor groups for syndicators. And like it might have been Biggerpockets as well. If not, that's another fantastic example of a perfect freaking way to do this because it's literally our community in a nutshell. It's like as tight as you can get when it comes to kind of a niche down demographic in relation to real estate investing, right? And essentially, like he was just telling me that he's like, yeah, like I was just like responding to people's comments, like putting content out there, and just doing it like so repetitively and at such a high frequency, people started to notice. Right. And eventually, there was a gentleman that reached out to him. They started chatting. Some time went by and, they ended up, kind of jumping into a partnership together. They're doing like crazy big deals now, and it's friggin' wild. But essentially, my point is, guys, is like you can meet absolutely crazy people, whether it's, limited partners for your deals on the syndication side, whether it's potential co-GPs or, like people that run funds and stuff like that, like whether it be, just other folks that are in your market, say that have like, smaller, like 2 to 10 units or something like that. Like you don't know on the internet who is actually watching. Right, and same thing with Biggerpockets as well. I put this on my habit tracker after we had that conversation, and it's already worked out, like, pretty well, like, just because of, like, how things have fell, right? Literally just to give value to at least 3 people a day, and I go to the, like, 3 or 4 syndicator investor, syndicator Facebook groups, and then to post on Biggerpockets as well, and or give value to other people's posts on there as well, specific to the apartment investing section. Um, and yeah, like it just blew my mind, man, and like it's such a phenomenal way to build relationships anyway. because like like if you just give people value, like crazy shit's gonna happen, man. Like especially not expecting anything in return, and just like people have questions, you answer the questions like with the information that you have. Like you never know what can happen, and all of a sudden, like people start to notice that, like whether you realize that or you don't, you know what I mean? Um, and like there are people out there that like you might not necessarily helping directly in terms of giving value, but like there are people that might be watching, and other people that are in these groups, and there's often like, a couple thousand people or more that are in some of these really niche down groups. Um, that check these pretty often, and the algorithm when it comes to Facebook groups, like a lot of people see the posts that are rolling through there that are in that group, just in their feed and everything. And it sounds so simple, right? But it's so friggin' real. Like the more value that you give, especially the more niche down that you can get. I mean, for me, like I said, there's like the 3 or 4 syndicator investor groups on Facebook. There's probably a mixture of like between like 1,500 and like 7,000 people in each of these groups. Um, and especially, a lot of the folks like myself are going to be in multiples of the same group within the same niche. So like you're going to see like, and if anything, like that's like as like the goose that laid the golden egg, right? Like your name showing up over and over and over and over and over, like literally just giving value to other people. And it's a beautiful freaking thing, right? And I wanted to tell that story because I thought it was incredibly valuable, and it really like knocked my socks off when he told me. Um, and like I mentioned, guys, like it sounds so simple, right? Oh, just go on Biggerpockets and like answer people's questions, or go to a Facebook group and like make a post once in a while, just giving value. Like it sounds so simple, but the amount of people that don't do it versus the amount of people that do it very consistently and friggin' crush it is like staggering, So like that's something that I started doing. I've done it for like the past like 2 days because I put it into action literally like a couple days ago. And it's already like helped out a ton. You know what I mean? And like I heard another story from my partner Brian. He was telling me he's told me a couple times, and I absolutely love this, right? And we talk about it once in a while. Um, so I mean, many of you guys listening to this podcast, whether you're local to Boston, local to Massachusetts, New Hampshire, or you're in freaking Nevada, like doing some cool stuff out there, like in the desert, something like that. Whatever. But essentially, like, some of these investor Facebook groups, especially more geographically focused, there's a shit ton of them in Massachusetts, like the Mass Real Estate Investor Group that has like thousands and thousands of people in it. And there's a bunch of them, there's some in Central Mass, whatever, like lots of stuff, right? They're all over the place. And one of the things that he mentioned, and this doubles down on my point on why this is something that's extremely valuable, is he was telling me, he's like, dude, like I would put my email in a lot of the deals that like, wholesalers have, like, oh, drop your email, and I'll send you more information on it. Or, just other off markets, like from agents or whatever the case may be. And literally just like consistently put your name down, because other people that are in those groups will notice that you're like putting your name in these groups of like, oh, hey, like I'll check that deal out, man. And if not, like, maybe I'll send it to somebody, like maybe we'll JV on it. Maybe I'll analyze it, whatever the case may be. Right. And it sticks out like a sore thumb, man, in a perfectly phenomenal way, because your name keeps showing up. So like people start to get the gist, like, oh, like who's Brian? Like he's everywhere, and then like there's a woman in our market, shout out to Juana. If you're listening to this, freaking love you, you're freaking amazing. um like people will like literally like start to tag you in some of those types of posts, and just kind of like indirectly just kind of see like probably like subconsciously, to be honest with you, um like the things that you're tagging your name in, You know, is it like flips? Is it like large apartments? Is it what is it? You know what I mean? Like whatever your, you know, kind of niche is. But my point is, again, doubling down on this, is the more that you are putting yourself out there in terms of creating content, in terms of like just putting yourself out there and like just being present in the community and literally just giving value with zero expectation of return, right? Stemming back to what I mentioned in the first part is like that guy Chris literally like made a crazy freaking partnership because he was consistently giving value, you know? And like this is something that can be applied to literally anything. I mean, even like to triple down on my point, right? This just popped into my head now. This wasn't going to be part of the recording, but it is now. One of the podcasts I listened to in the past couple days was Gary Vaynerchuk. Um, love his podcast too. Love that dude. I have like 2 of his books over there. Um, but one of the things he talked about in a podcast that I listened to yesterday, yes, I believe it was yesterday, was that, you know, talking about, you know, like getting new clients. Like, say you're like an agent and, you know, you're looking for clients around like your county or whatever, you know, buyers, sellers, what have you. Well, he was like, instead of like, you know, cold calling and direct mail and like all this crazy stuff, he's like, what if you literally like just went into like your town Facebook groups or like a BNI that's in the area, like business networking international, I think the last word is. I've only been to like one of those meetings ever. Um, but essentially, so one of the things that Gary was mentioning was you know, instead of like, you know, doing all this crazy stuff to always generate new relationships, he's like, what if you literally just go into like those local town groups, again, niching down to whatever specifically you're looking for, and just give freaking value over and over and over again. So people are going to see your name, literally just giving with zero expectation and like literally just providing value into the marketplace. And people are literally going to just see you and people are going to look into you because we're humans and we're curious, right? Like, who is this dude? Like, who's Kyle? Like, who's Brian? Who's like Sean from like accounting or something, whatever that means. Who is this that keeps literally giving value to our community? You know, and like I said, people are going to look into you. People are going to look into your profile and be like, oh, damn, like, you know, that dude's a sponsor. Like, he's got, you know, he's got access to you know large apartments that him and his team are doing, and you know that's an opportunity for me to potentially make, you know, a pretty decent passive return. Or you know, Sean from accounting, whatever that means, he's a, you know, an agent in Chelmsford, you know, and this dude's in there like every day, literally, like, you know, just talking to people and giving them restaurant recommendations and like all this stuff. Who do you think that the community is going to be watching? You know, whether it's directly, whether it's indirectly, people are going to be watching Sean. You know, the people that see your name over and over and over again are going to get curious. They're going to look into you. And like, if you're just giving value, man, like crazy things are going to happen. So yeah, that actually works out really good for this little show because that was literally 3 prongs proving my point of like literally just go into the marketplace, like, you know, giving value to people with zero expectation of return. Mind you, get as specific as you can get when it comes to like niching down to groups. With groups, it works really good. Like any kind of like gathering of people, the more people, the better. The more niche down it is, the better. Um, or you know, like a forum like Biggerpockets is phenomenal. I do that. I tag like Worcester, Massachusetts as the location, you know, so when people look up Worcester, they see me over and over and over and over again. But yeah, so like that's kind of my point, guys, is like get as niche as you can, give value with zero expectation of return, do it like very consistently, and then, you know, people are just going to reach out to you. You're going to start relationships you never thought were possible. You're going to come to mind when Sally from freaking Main Street wants to sell her house and is like, oh, I don't know any agents. Oh, what about Sean from accounting? Like, you know, that guy is like he's always given value to people. He's an agent. Like, I should reach out to him. Like, he knows this area like there's no tomorrow, you know? Or like, oh, you know, like um just got this huge bonus from work. Like, who do I know that, and I don't have time to, to go buy a multifamily, but I want to get in the industry. Oh, Kyle's a syndicator. Like, he knows, how to orchestrate projects. Like, let me jump on a call with them and see if we can work together. Like, it's go get them, guys. Like, that's my point, is just get as niche as you can, give as much value as you can with zero expectation of return, and do it consistently. Crazy things are going to happen. And I'll keep you guys posted on that, because that's something that I literally added to my habit tracker every single day, is to post on Biggerpockets once, and go to each of the Facebook groups and give at least 3 people value. And posting is even better, literally, like, just things like this, just mini podcast episodes, whatever, like, just things that you hear on podcasts, like podcasts that you recommend to people, something you read in a book, like some tips, like anything that you're consuming, because we're always consuming, right? Whether it's through podcasts, books, through conversations with people, through networking, like, we're always learning shit. So, like, if you're able to literally just share that with other people, there's your content. Don't overcomplicate it. Get out there, go be consistent, go crush it, go build friends, go change your family tree, go create wealth together, go fucking nuts. But alrighty, guys, please leave a rating and a review on this little episode. It really helps me out, helps me give value to a lot more people, organically share this across a lot more, folks in the platforms, and tell your friends. Alrighty, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
That's a wrap for today's episode. We want to thank you for being a valued listener of the Creating Wealth Podcast. Make sure to visit www.creatingwealth.com to connect with us. Dive into our ever-expanding library of informative blogs. Get access to our private investor portal and explore a wide range of additional valuable resources. Stay tuned for our next episode as we continue to create wealth together.